So, after having finished Shadowbringers, as well as every single expansion up to this day, obviously, I have come to make my own review about Final Fantasy XIV and why I believe it may be the best MMO out there. Guys, I don't take lightly when I say something like this. I want you guys to understand this, that for me, labeling something as the best MMO in the world is not just something I do or I take easily or I take lightly or anything. I grew up playing MMOs all the way back from Lineage 2 to this day, and I will keep on playing. Like, I even gave a try to the last MMO called Tower of Fantasy, and I will keep on trying other MMOs. Now, why do I think that Final Fantasy XIV is the best MMO out there? And I will explain in the end. I will have some score and so on and so forth. Now, we begin with the biggest masterpiece this game has to offer, which is the music and sound. Now, everyone says about the story, and bear with me, this is gonna be number 2, but number 1 is absolutely music and sound. Allow me to explain what each one means. Now, what do I mean when I say sound? Sound clearly refers to that the sounds that the jobs produce when they are in combat. For example, Samurai's cuts feel so super clean that you just enjoy fucking doing them. And then you have Reaper's attacks, you have Dark Knight, you can insert every single job here, and the souls of the abilities, not the souls, I apologize, the sounds of the abilities will actually feel super organic, super good. It makes you enjoy the class that you're playing, you know? Now, when it comes to music, I mean, do I really need to address this elephant in the room? Think about it. Starting all the way from ARR, you listen to, well, my first city was Lim Salaminsa, you know? And just listening to that particular music made me want to go out and explore the world. I didn't even know that the world was called Eorzea. I didn't even give a shit. Like, you know, when you're just a fucking noob and you just start playing, and you just need to get out there and just do stuff, you know? That was what Lim's music was for me. That was the same as Ul'dah, that was the same as Gridania, who are fairly nostalgic musics. And then as you went so on and so forth, they would address it with more epic themes, such as Ifrit, which was the first one that hit me, pow, right here. And then I will not really yammer too much about the overall music, so I will just keep the highlights, which for me, ARR's highlight was unquestionably Answers. The first time I listened to Answers in the Biding Calls of Bahamut, in Bahamut Cry, I cried like a little girl, and I'm not really ashamed to admit that. And to this day, after 2 or 3 years, since that day has passed, I still tear up. I still tear up just listening to this beautiful fucking masterpiece that Mr. Nobuo Uematsu, or however he's called, my Japanese Sakai, don't even know Japanese. This guy's a fucking genius, you know? And then you go on to Heavensward, okay? Which, like, you know what? My favorite music in Heavensward will have to be either the opening theme, especially the moment where the dragons begin to chant in their language. Like, I am a sucker when it comes to dragons, and that moment was just one of my favorite moments in the game. That or Ravana. Like, Ravana, the Waltz of the Blades, the Waltz of Death, you know? Take wings, ye sons of war, or whatever he says. That was an amazing song for me. A song that to this day I enjoy listening. Heck, I even work out to this fucking song, you know? Now, we go on to Stormblood, and I think that the best song in Stormblood was not actually Revelations, though, Storm of Blood, born from... Yeah, I'm not going to sing it, but you guys know which part I'm talking about. It was super epic. Though, I think the best music in Stormblood was Tsukuyomi's theme, alright? Now, Phase 1, wow. Phase 2, wow. Like, go watch my video about Tsukuyomi if you want to properly see the live reaction I had to listening Phase 2 music. I lost my shit, okay? Like, I lost my shit. I'm not even joking here, okay? And then Phase 3, and the beat just fucking drops, and you're like, oh my god, you know? Then you see what happens with the story, but again, the story we will address later. And then we move to Shadowbringers, you know? Now, obviously there are more awesome music parts in the game, like Omega, for example, the Choo Choo Train motherfucker part in, Stormblood. That music was also very good, but I'm just saying the things that come to mind as of right now, like the things that stand out to me. And the music that stood out to me when it came to Shadowbringers, well, first of all, I really like the intro, the way it starts, you know, like, for whom grips the storm, blah blah blah, you know, like, it addresses the end of the previous expansion and so on and so forth. But the cinematic wow, okay? Insatiable, wow, alright? And trust me when I say that Shadowbringers had a lot of good music, but I think the one that sealed the deal for me when it came to music from Shadowbringers was Tomorrow After Tomorrow. Like, I listened to this, I was in the Crystarium one night, because, it's a night thing, right? And I listened to this song playing, and I'm like, whoa, like, huh, damn, that was my live reaction, I could not just fathom how amazing it was. Not that there were not other very good themes, like, the ones I mentioned, or Nier themes, which were really epic music. To this day, I work out listening to Nier themes, much like Ravana, But yeah, I think Tomorrow After Tomorrow was the epitome of Shadowbringers, second only to, to Answers again when we face Bahamut. Now, number 2, writing. And what is there to be said about the writing of this game? From the moment you spawn in Lim Salomins or in Ul'dah or in Gridane, wherever you spawn, and you're like clueless, you are clueless, you're like, hey, huh? What? The game slowly takes you and it starts to guide you through the world. Like, you know what I like? Very rarely I will find a game that has the typical zero to hero story, and the story is actually good. No, you tend to have plot armor, and it doesn't really make sense. The game just fucking treats you like you're, I don't know, Jesus or something. And it really sucks, but not in this game. No, in this game, your strengths get addressed. They speak about it. Your failures get addressed. They tell you how you can become better. For example, when you lost your Echo back in Midgardsormr, with the Keeper of the Lake, if I recall correctly, the dungeon, you were like, hey, what happened? Again, you got to feel helpless, and you haven't gotten helpless in a long time. You haven't gotten to feel that emotion maybe ever since La Habrea, wiped the floor with your fucking ass, because La Habrea just did that. And you needed Hydaelyn to intervene to defeat this Ashen. And then, Midgardsormr, and then it goes on with Nidhogg, how slowly you progress and you learn how to fight, Then you go to Stormblood, then you get, again, your ass whooped by Xenos, who has the Echo, which you don't know at that time. And then, overall, it shows you that, no matter what happens, you just have to keep going, you just have to keep pushing and becoming stronger and improving, And starting all the way back to ARR, I've reached all the way to Shadowbringers, I've not done Endwalker yet, but all the way to Shadowbringers, you see this, to the end of Shadowbringers, like how you just need to overcome the next obstacle, Be it Xenos, be it La Habrea, be it Amet'Sulk, be it Eligibus, being whoever it is, And another really good thing that I really love when it comes to writing is the philosophy behind it. Never give up, never surrender, just keep going, keep trying, you will succeed, I may or may not be teaching the youth, I may or may not be something of a teacher myself, and to have those positive messages given to teenagers, giving to young people, younger generations, I think is a very good thing, I believe that this world could do with a lot more positivity and inspirational quotes than the fucking negativity and shit, And speaking about teaching, this is one of the reasons I believe that Final Fantasy XIV should unironically be taught or promoted in schools. Like, I have never said this about any other game, but I really believe that FF14 has a lot of good things to portray there. For example, Alpha and Omega, how Alpha was the failure, the first product that was made, and Omega considered him to be, well, pretty much dogshit, But at the end, when Omega lost, he could not really understand what was happening, because Alpha did though, like, Alpha got the emotions. And in the end, what did it say? Like, the one that created you can also learn from you, like, never be arrogant, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, and how the end sparks a new beginning, It was a really good story for me, as well as they keep on fighting. The last address was to Alphinaud, like, you did reach to this point, what was his name? Ardenweald, however the fuck you call the guy with the tattoo, with the Echo, half the Echo, the one that became a cripple, unfortunately. That guy told him that, you are still yourself, despite your failures and your successes, you're still the one you are right now. You have succeeded in what you have succeeded. And this is a moment that I believe that would be very good to be addressed in schools. Now, I know this will never happen, but I really believe that they should fucking address that. I would gladly, if I was, English teacher or anything, I would really try to advise my students to play Final Fantasy XIV. I could even have some linguistic shit with, Urianger being like, huff, duff, doof, duff. I don't like the guy, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? So, yeah, that's about the story. Like, a solid 8 out of 10? No, a solid 9 out of 10, okay? And I don't really give grades to anything. Like, for me, the best MMO prior to FF14 was a 7 out of 10 at maximum, at best, at best. But FF14 made it where, like I said, music would be like a 9 out of 10, or no, music would be a perfect 10 out of 10 to be honest, okay? Writing would be a 9 out of 10, and now we come to gameplay. And here I have some pros and cons, some good and bad shit, okay? I have some good and bad shit about writing, for example, Liz, but I try to keep it a bit positive here. Since my overall review is positive, I want to focus on the positive things. Now, gameplay. When you start playing the game, it does not feel good. Like, they need to address the low-level system somehow, the low-level progression. As a paladin, it felt like dog shit. As summoner, it was much better, okay? But paladin low-level feels dog shit. Thaumaturge low-level feels dog shit. I know that the jobs feel way more fulfilling at level 60, at level 70, at level 80, and so on and so forth. But people that start an MMO for the first time, new people that start FF14, they do not know that. And while the music does wonders in immersing you, and the writing does wonders in starting you as, you're a fucking nobody, so let's try to become someone, gameplay doesn't really stand out as much, so I would probably give it like a 5 out of 10, like a 4 out of 10 at start, Coming from World of Warcraft and having played ESO, having played other MMOs as well, I can tell you that the gameplay started as very, 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 very clunky. But, and now here's the big but, not the big but, don't get weird, big but, B-U-T, okay? When I got to level 80, or to level 70 to be honest, when I got my samurai to level 70, it was so clean. The sounds, the gameplay, the progression, bring back I-10 by the way, please, okay? Anyway, it felt so good, it really felt so good. And when I got my Reaper to level 80, wow, and Shroud, guys, okay? Like, this has to be the best spell in the game, As Dark Knight, when you go to summon your Living Shadow, when you got access to the Blackest Night, when you got to see all those fucking epic particles, other than, spam the AoE button, which is one button up to level 50 something or something, I don't remember. Then it started to become much better. What I'm trying to conclude here is that the gameplay becomes very, very good. Now, I think that there is still a long way in order if they want to nail it. For example, Dragoon and being locked in the place still. I know that this doesn't really feel ideal. Like, I've died to just being locked into the place, and the reason is why I don't want to delve too much into this, but long story short, if you leap away, but the spell, the AoE lands, the moment your character is mid-air, it registers you as before you left instead of where you currently are, which ends up killing you, and you don't, this is not really good, But other than that, as the game progressed and evolved, so did the gameplay, and I would say that having finished Shadowbringers with Reaper, the gameplay was more of, let's say, an 8 out of 10, okay? I don't want to give it 2 more because it still doesn't feel too fluid, and it will never feel so fluid because of the 500 milliseconds that it has as delay time. Unfortunately, FF14 works like this, but it did the best it could, Now, lastly, I have one more thing I want to address. Perhaps the final thing. No, it is the final thing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it again. It's the love for the game, and not my love for the game. Like, I wouldn't be playing the game if just my friend wasn't like, you know what, you're playing WoW, maybe you should stop playing WoW, or maybe not keep playing WoW, but try FF. And I was like, sure. And I tried it, and I was like, this is a weird game. And then, whoa, this is a good game. But I'm not talking about my love for the game. Let's ignore my love for the game. Let's ignore your love for the game. Let's try to address the love of the developers, okay? Now, I don't believe that you can achieve perfection, which in my eyes, Final Fantasy XIV almost is, okay? Like, it's the best MMO out there. It's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. Nothing can be perfect. It was made by humans, thus it must have some flaws, But you cannot create something so fucking good without loving it. You can tell that the writer team has humility. despite the fucking milestones ahead that Shadowbringers is in comparison to ARR, and Stormblood is in comparison to ARR, which Stormblood, by the way, is my favorite expansion. I will make another video about this. You can tell the love of the devs for the game. You can see these fucking nerds in the conventions, how they're like. You can see Yoshi P's face lighten up when he speaks. The other guy with the white hair, white gray hair, I don't remember his name. I love this guy, by the way. Soken, dude, this guy, Soken is a fucking hero, okay? Like, we're going to say this in this video, Soken is a fucking hero. And then the girl that does the writing, I don't remember her name. She was a bit on the chubby side, a bit of a goofy face. I mean everything I'm saying, I mean it positively, like there is no hate towards anything, you know. These guys love the game, and when you love a product, you want to make it the best. And this is what you get in FF14. You get devs that play the game, you get devs that love the game, you get devs that want to play the game. FF14 to this day is the only MMO that is not paid to win by any aspect, from my experience. Allow me to explain briefly, because the video is not about this. Alright, World of Warcraft has the WoW token, money, WoW token, gold, buy shit, good, you're gone. ESO has the crystals, which you can buy. It actually allows you, the company allows you to sell crystals in game for in-game currency. So there you go, pay to win. You get gold. Then you have Star Wars: The Old Republic, which again you can buy cosmetics from the shop, sell it in the auction house, marketplace, and then you would just buy the gold from there, and you can use the gold for whatever you want to use. Like every single MMO I've tried, especially Tower of Fantasy, has a pay-to-win mechanic. Okay, now FF14 does not. Okay, maybe the retainers, but come on, like it's bank space. But the extra missions, I don't see it. Maybe I am biased, and if I'm biased, please type it in the comments below, guys. But I really don't see Final Fantasy XIV as a pay-to-play game, you know? And this is where I will try to sum up the video, you know? I will try to mention a positive and a negative thing very briefly. And you guys will see that the negative things are not easy to come by, you know? For example, when it comes to music and sound, I have no negative things to say. I believe this is a 10 out of 10. I believe that the music in this fucking game and the sounds are perhaps the best sounds made in any MMO. When it comes to the writing, okay, everything is positive. Liz is negative. What was the other guy? The guy, the one from Stormblood again. Not particularly fond of this guy, because I wanted to kill him at start and then I wanted to kill him at the end. But literally, like, most of things, Yuhase was annoying. Yuhase was the bad guy, right? I think he was the bad guy from the Brass Blades. If he wasn't, correct me in the video below, in the comments down below. But yeah, like 99.9% of the story was amazing, of the writing was amazing. Gameplay, the upper levels are way better than the lower levels, which, like, it makes sense, but a newbie, if you want to catch a newbie's attention and force him, well, not force him, but, you know, lure him into, you know, after all, it's money, lure him into playing your game, you do want to address that lower levels. Like, it doesn't feel so good. It was like coming from WoW, you know? And as for the love of the game, if they continue to develop this game for as much love as they have up to this day, I think we may be looking at the king of the MMOs in the future, guys. Fingers crossed, right? Anyway, I don't have much else I want to tell you guys. I stream on Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday on Twitch. You can find my channel in the description down below. You can click there, you can go to my About Me, you can read my schedule. Nobody reads it, I'm judging, but I wrote it, but nobody reads it, you know? I am sincerely doubting that anyone is actually watching the outro. Like, I believe that the moment that the YouTube creator is like, anyway, guys, I mean, that's it, no, click off, you know? But anyway, it doesn't really matter. Thank you for watching this video, and as always, this is King Shiny. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay hydrated, guys. Cheers!